All right. Welcome back to another episode of Ocean Currents Podcast. And today we wanted to do a little year-end wrap-up from FOA. And we have Gita and Christian representing FOA to talk about a lot of things that happened. There's been a lot of movement in the last year. And, you know, we FOA represents themselves as stewards, not miracle workers, but man, sometimes it's pretty close to miracles. So I also want to introduce, not introduce because he's been around quite a while now, Miles Sedgwick. Why don't you each give a little kind of go around the room here and introduce yourself just in case someone's new to the podcast or the video. And Gita, you can start.
Yeah, my name is Gita in Danish. I'm from Denmark and I'm a member of the FOA board and I own an ocean. I'm also part of Tidalway, which is our European spare parts shop. And I do a lot of things.
You certainly do. And go next to Christian.
Hey, most people know me. I'm Christian. I am one of FOA's co-founders, and also the current president of the association.
And Miles.
And I'm Miles, and if you're seeing this in video format, I do not live in my ocean. I was helping out a guy who lives near me with his 12-volt battery today, and so I'm here. Hands are dirty from trying to work on that swap out, and but it's great to be here, and glad to be a part of this.
And that's exactly the spirit of FOA right there. It's like we're going to frame that, put a little cameo around you.
So, yeah, you got to be willing to get your hands dirty.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the last year, for the leadership and Miles too, even myself, what surprised us most, both positively and negatively?
Wow.
Well, I can start. I was really amazed and really proud of how many stepped up for the PKC 21 updates of volunteers. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but we are above 100 people that just did the installs on people's cars. It's been, amazing, actually.
And some people have said that was like a multi-million-dollar effort if it was done by a commercial entity.
Yeah.
All that coordination. That was like one big positive. Anything negative or maybe disappointing?
I mean, so I'll start with a positive, actually.
Sure.
Is that, when we founded this, we founded it with just a unfounded theory that people would come together and that a robust community would form and that pieces that we had no idea would fall into place. I mean, we were very naive when we started. I think that that was probably our greatest superpower was like how naive we were because, there's no reason to believe that this was going to work.
Yeah.
But just the thing is, the right people have shown up to do all kinds of things, from people who have like deep technical knowledge of engineering or cars or like logistical supply chains, down to all the people who were willing to take a shot at least ordinary people who were willing to take a shot at installing software, and did it pretty well. And then just the generosity of people, just every day willing to help each other out to figure out how to troubleshoot things, and then just people just stick around and it gets stronger, I think. So that's a good one. A negative for me, I think, is I certainly, and I know like Gita was also deeply involved in this, was very disappointed at the implosion of the potential to work with OV-Loop and American Lease. And all of us really wanted that to work and kind of really ran it to ground, doing the best we could to try and see to it that it did. And, we just had some really strict sort of limits as far as how much control we were willing to give away to a third party, that especially a for-profit third party, and sort of recognizing the dangers of winding up in a situation where some third party controls all the pricing and all the access to everything. It was not something that we could, in good conscience, sign on to. So, that was disappointing. And, I was sort of like live with the hope that maybe, down the road, like something will change and they'll come back and say like, all right, let's try and do this a different way.
Got it. Miles, thoughts?
I mean, a year ago, I wasn't even a Fisker Ocean owner. So I don't know. I guess a lot has changed in a year. But the world has changed a lot in a year. And I would say that a year ago, I had no idea how much, I live and work in the Washington, D.C. area. And so things have changed a lot for us around here. And a year ago, I didn't know how much was going to change for me with my work and with, things that we do at my company. This has been a tremendously positive hobby for me, a really great community to be a part of. It's made for what would have been some challenging moments this year a lot more fun. And quite honestly, the people who are part of FOA are amazing individuals. I really love being a part of this group. Like, this is, yes, are there challenging moments? Do we have challenging moments? Yes, we do, like any group does, right? But in general, you send a message out and people write back with really good ideas, or we share pictures of our pets, or we talk about things that are like totally off topic, and then we come back to the topic. But it's fun to be a part of this, and it's a really cool group of really diverse people from all over the place. And some people are really good at cars. Some people are really good at reading manuals. Some people are really good at knowing the financial side of things. But like, we all chip in and we all get things done. And I really like that a lot.
And a lot of all of this gets communicated at the town hall meetings, which are now monthly, and then the newsletter in between. So there's a lot of ways of people linking up with all the conversations and support and activities going on. And speaking of this, like belief in people, which I'm hearing through the three of you, that's attracted some attention, and positive attention from the media. And I think each one of you have been involved in at least one or perhaps more different conversations with the media. And I think that's a notable thing to talk about. I'm going to flip it back to Gita first.
Yeah. At first, when Fisker went bankrupt here in Europe, we tried to reach out to all sorts of newspapers and podcasts and stuff like that. And they were all like, nah, it's not really a cool story. And let's see where this is heading. And then a few months ago, I made a post in a Danish group for EVs about PKC 21 and how we developed it ourselves. And we're going to deploy it to cars. And then it got attention because people were like, are you developing on this car that is, well, the company went bankrupt. How are you doing it? Is it like open source? All sorts of stuff. So yeah, I've done some interviews and tried to explain how you can still use your car when the company is gone. So yeah.
Good. Christian.
So, I mean, so arguably, like, media was how this all got started. So I give a story. I'm not like a believer in sort of like stars aligning and things like that, but I do think that humans exist in a system where there are connections that are kind of put in front of you that you can choose to accept. And so about 3 weeks after I got my Ocean, I was at a fast charger way up in Liberty, New York, like this like middle of nowhere fast charger, and somebody was fast charging next to me, and he came over and he said like, hey, I got to talk to you about that car because like I'm the editor of Inside EVs magazine. I never thought that I was going to actually see one of these things. And so that began like the beginning of he's actually a really good friend of mine now because he actually just happens to live in the area. So I told him, well, if you ever want to hear like, some owner perspectives on this thing, like feel free to give me a shout and I'm happy to talk about it. So I had sort of an ongoing conversation with him and one of his writers there just about my general like frustration and experiences with, their abysmal customer service and like just like things that were going right and things that were going wrong, and we would check in every few weeks. And so in whatever it was, like June or whatever, when we were gonna like go out and start trying to build membership, I had just happened to have a call with him to check in on stuff, and I decided, like, you know what, I'm actually going to pitch this to him and to the writer, and so I said, we're gonna start this association, and here's what it does. Maybe, let's not talk about the usual things we talk about here. Like, I want to talk about that. And they decided to like do a piece on it, like right as we started to really go out and try to attract membership. That piece was, I think, the catalyst for, within about a month, we had over 3,000 members.
Wow.
And I think that, without just that happenstance piece and their willingness to run a story about it, like, I don't know that this would be here. Not the way it is now. I mean, I think there may have been some other avenue, but like, it just happened to be exactly the right thing at the right time, and they went with it, and it was like, just boom, it existed.
Very cool. Miles, anything to add there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an amazing story. I haven't heard that one. So that's really cool for getting everybody to join. I mean, I think now we're at this moment where we've got, I think, a lot of really strong membership. We've got a lot of people who really believe in FOA. Like, anytime I meet people who live in the area, or people online who are, helping out with various different things that are going on at different moments, like, people really believe in this, and they see it as like the way forward. They see it as like the best model for how to keep this car on the road, which I love. I think that's the really coolest part of it.
Some people believe it. There are certain people. We certainly do have our like sort of dark Fisker faction who, like, we've been accused of all kinds of malfeasance, none of which is true, but there are like plenty of conspiracy theories about us, just like there are plenty of conspiracy theories about the car. So these are also part of the community too. Some of them are members, some of them are not members, and they just lob bombs from outside. But I mean, honestly, like, if you get above a certain number of people in any ecosystem, you're always going to have that faction. And I think that, like, they do have some value in that. They do like really hold our feet to the fire. We need to be like transparent. We need to be like ethical. Because they're just waiting for us to do something that isn't, and we only have ourselves to blame if we, like, kind of cross those lines.
Mm-hmm. That's actually something I've found to be quite disappointing this year. That's people that want us to fail. I'm like, well, it's okay you don't want to join, but why do you wish for us to fail? Because
there was one guy who was like, the Fisker Owners Association is the worst thing that's ever happened in the world. I was like, man, you're in a small world there, because like that's small beans.
Yeah, but there's people out there, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges that I've seen, I'm sort of like, I would say, in like a fringe on the FOA, and I appreciate the role that I have, but clear communication is really key, because it is a technically complex, and there are rapidly changing solutions to problems, as well as past problems that have happened that are already solved. And maybe you could speak towards that, like the any changes that have come across in the last year or so regarding reaching members, communication channels, that type of thing.
I think communication efficiency is definitely a work in progress. I think we can improve quite a bit there. But honestly, like, I gotta say though, like, especially the people who work the inbox are like, these are like the most important people in the entire like internal team, is like that, because they are that front line, and they kind of put up with all kinds of shit from people, and they get like wonderful stuff too. But like, they do kind of take it on the nose some days when like something rough is going on. Like, sometimes the volume is pretty high, and people can tend to be, a little like not willing to be understanding about stuff sometimes. So, but I think that it's also an opportunity for us to think about, like, well, how do we communicate things? I know for myself, at least, like, I'm an autistic person, and I can be a very frustrating communicator sometimes. And I think that I'm being clear. The problem is I'm actually being so clear that I'm like so in the weeds on things that people can't understand. And I could just like, could have shortened whatever I was trying to say to like 2 words or something. So, I do like have a soft spot for the frustration people can feel sometimes in communication situations. And so, I wouldn't blame it on like angry people. I would sort of like look to see how we can improve those lines of communication for everybody, for those people who are answering the inbox and for the people who are looking for help.
And something I've noticed is there are other people who are unofficially joining on to be communicators, usually with pretty solid information that they've picked up. So they're sort of nipping in the bud queries that come up, especially in social media, like in Facebook. There's a lot of things that are like, that's all past history. Okay, here we go. Now we got Andrew online.
Surprise entrance.
Yeah.
And now we have the full climate spectrum.
Yes.
Right.
East Coast to West Coast to Europe, Northern Europe.
Yeah. To Iraq.
Yeah. Oh, right. In terms of the deployment of vehicles and the support necessary.
Yeah.
And maybe does the one in Kenya, I haven't heard about that one in a while, but there was one in Kenya for a while too. That's brave.
Yeah.
Very, very brave.
Okay. Miles, do you want to throw any thoughts into that conversation about communication, maybe some experiences you've had too?
Yeah, but okay, so maybe this is how I wanted to, it's more of a question. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
So for you folks who've been a part of the FOA for a lot longer, you've been on this ride for a lot longer. Some of the things that we've been dealing with for the past year now, like American Lease and the relationship with OV Loop and some of the more challenging parts, right? Looking forward, now that like we have a really solid app and we have a really great Pulse device coming out and we have really good PKC21 updates coming soon. Like there's so many things in 2026 that I would say are just enormously positive. How would you describe your feeling going into the new year? Like, are we looking at, big changes coming up? Are things like stabilizing? Are we getting to a point where like being an association is like validated and necessary? Or I don't know, like, how do you feel about it?
I'm so excited. I mean, I'm really looking forward to all these new features for the car. It's going to be the most cool EV on the market. It will have features that no other EV has. It will have connectivity. It will have like all those Netflix, HBO things people want to look at when they charge. And yeah, it will be a really, really, really cool car. So yeah, I'm excited.
One of the things that I watched the Rivian Autonomy and AI Day, and one of the things that they announced was like they were excited. They were adding an AI layer to, I think, to their app or something like that, so that like you could actually do like some degree of like diagnostics on your car. And I was like, yeah, nice announcement, dudes. We beat you. bunch of nobodies without $1 billion budget.
Right.
But I think so. Here's the thing: like, we started this year with very. The situation was pretty bleak. We had just sort of like thought that we were going to like embark on this partnership with American Lease and OV Loop, and like over the first like from the time the bankruptcy went Chapter 7 to the end of the year, it's just like it became more and more and more restrictive. They wanted more control over things. It became sort of just like you guys can fog the windows with your breath, but you can't actually have any control over anything. You can't argue about stuff. When we try to do the 2.2 updates with them, we said we'll set up systems, we'll act as sort of the front end of this and like help you guys out, and like we'll work together. And like basically they were nearly completely unresponsive to us. And it sort of as 2025 sort of started rolling out, it became pretty apparent that, we had a conundrum and we had to figure out like, all right, what are we going to do? And I feel like the first, few months of the year were like kind of just, suspended animation, trying to figure out like, like kind of coming to the realization that that model wasn't gonna work. But like the thing is, when all of us, 15 of us or 10 of us or whatever in the beginning started just sort of daydreaming about this, we actually daydreamed about what we're doing now instead anyway. So, what we decided to do was just to really kind of like take that leap and to say like, you know what, we're actually going to just try and follow our initial vision and see if it'll work. And I think that really kind of kicked everybody into gear. And, that where we're ending 2025 is like completely different. I mean, we're actually actualizing that vision and we're actually building things. We're actually finally kind of determining our own destiny, and I think getting to the point where we will be able to be an association, which in my sort of vision is one where we do like allow for the mess of people being able to kind of argue about things and change stuff in the cars based on opinions and persuasion and kind of proposals and people voting on those proposals and deciding to enact them and things. And so like, I think we're getting closer and closer to that. We have done some sort of limited version of this kind of democracy so far. I think that one of my goals, over the rest of my presidency till summer is to push that further and to really kind of institutionalize it, make sure that system works. And so I'm excited, not just about like the technical aspects of what's happening, but also just about what could a sort of self-governing community that built around a vehicle look like? And can it be something that is not only like self-sufficient, but also something that maybe changes the way people think about models of like vehicle ownership, and like kind of pushes back against the sort of sassification of like the entire like functionality of vehicles, which is something I disagree with. I don't like the fact that these days basically you buy a car and you still have to rent pieces in it. Like I was born when all of us were born when you just buy a car and the car is your car and everything in it is you own the whole thing. And so I feel like this can be.
You don't like ads in your car, Christian?
I just think it's like silly that I have to pay like a subscription to like roll all my windows down at once. That makes no sense.
We can vote on that. If you get polls, you can pay $5 a month to roll down your window and 10 to roll them up.
I would love that.
So Christian, you mentioned a couple things that were delivered, and two of them I can think of are the Link Pro app and the Pulse development. And those have been two exciting things that have happened this year. I mean, some people, maybe including myself, it's like the app is like, oh, it doesn't feel new, but it's very new. It happened this year. It happened months ago.
And it's not that car apps are new. It's just that they don't get developed in this fashion. And I think professionally, they have created an app that is, in my opinion, like it can stand up to any car app, and in some ways it exceeds a lot of them.
I was going to say, Christian, I've been using with my BMW i3. Speaking of the sassification, for the first 3 years, maybe of ownership, BMW Connected Drive was included in it. If I want to continue to use the app today, the full functionality of the app, which is nowhere near the functionality that we have in our app for the Fisker, you have to pay, I believe it's $120 a year. So if you are, if you want to see the current state of charge on your car or some other things, that's what's missing from the app. Like the app, if I open it up right now, I can still lock and unlock my car and see where it's parked but I can't do any of the quote unquote advanced features in it without paying for that subscription. And that has been that way more or less since I started driving that car in 2017.
But to be fair, that's also what the Ocean Link Pro app is. If you're not a member of FOA, you can use it.
Sure, but there's a difference. Like this,
I know.
this is a company, you know.
I know.
And like,
I know.
and it's like when you buy something, it's like I think what you're describing, Andrew. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but is basically that something that didn't cost you anything before suddenly now does. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right. And so the thing is, like, it's a company that should come up with a model that like is not like, I think the company should like figure out how to delight their customers. And it's like, and yet so often what they do is they just try to figure out like, well, now that I've got you captive, how can I get more money out of you? Which feels like the opposite. I think, like certainly, yes, there's a cost to this too, and you have to be a member, but I think you also don't have the degree of control over that the app, like in a BMW situation, that you would in this one. I think that people can complain about stuff, and the engineers are responsive to that, and they say like, all right, well, how can we fix this thing, or how can we add this new functionality, or whatever. Whereas, BMW is just gonna be like, well, get stuffed,
Yeah, to be clear, the app, even with full functionality, would never even approximate what we are offering in the app today. I mean, even with the full functionality, all I'm missing by not paying the annual amount right now is, quite frankly, to see like a current state of charge and maybe one or two other things. But it's never like it had the ability to roll down the windows like ours does, to do any kind of troubleshooting or data analysis, any of that type of stuff. That's not what it was for. And quite frankly, that's not what I think any of the manufacturer developed apps address. And it's a big difference, and sort of goes to your point about Rivian of like, oh, cool, you're introducing fire. Congratulations.
Not in an EV. Fire.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, they announced a lot of really incredible stuff.
Oh no, I'm
but
being flippant. Yeah.
The app thing, I was like, somebody give us some credit here.
I'm flippant. That's all.
I don't know any other car where you can do a full diagnostics yourself.
Yeah, OEMs wouldn't want you to, right? I mean, because service is their work stream.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about being able to do full diagnostics in your car now, it's typically older cars, requires, apps, dongles, things like that. In many cases, a PC, just to be able to plug into your OBD port. So I think it's sort of an unprecedented type of offering.
Yeah. It's also necessary because we don't have techs everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that they can just email their DTC report to a technician and then say, my car is not running. Can you help me out? And they already know what's wrong. Sometimes they can help remotely, or at least you don't have to drive like many hours and don't get any help. So it's,
Or find out you could have fixed it yourself without driving anywhere.
Yeah, if you think about most people, it's like, you take your car in because you have your check engine light on. 9 times out of 10, all they're doing is clearing a code. It's clearing a code, and sometimes it takes them, weeks just to get to it. It has been. I mean, I used it myself. We went on a road trip this past weekend, and I had to do a DTC clear, and it was great. Car started right back up, and everything was fine.
One of the most satisfying moments of my Fisker life, I think, was first time I got in the car with the app plugged in the dongle, and I cleared my codes, and in real time I heard the overhead fan in the in the overhead in the front turn off, and it's never turned back on since. I was like, wow.
Silence.
Yeah, because that thing was always on before.
I think that's the telltale sign for all of us.
Yeah. These little moments of pleasure.
Yeah.
So what's coming up? Can we speak a little bit about the development of the Pulse, which took place in 25 and is on the brink of delivery?
So still taking place, though. I mean, I think that's one of the things that is maybe unique about this is that we have, this is being developed in real time, and they're finding things that they need to fix. And like, we know that people have like the expectations, and they, they want things sooner than later. And, so we can't do some multi-year development cycle. We need to basically kind of like, just do it transparently in front of everybody. So, as Matt, Maj, and his team go through and QC everything and try everything out, and they're running into things where they get some issues, and it's pushed the delivery back a little bit. But I think that one of the things that we certainly learned from Fisker was that don't ship an unfinished product, especially something like a car. And so I think we're. They're doing it. It can be a little disappointing to like see those timelines slip, but I think that the more important thing is making sure that it works. And so I think that they're getting there, and it's been like kind of amazing to see it all happen like just in front of everybody. And Maj just tends to communicate things with people through the Discord. Everybody should sign up for if you have Pulse, because he will communicate stuff as he's working through them, and he's always available to talk to people about stuff. And so he'll like kind of just keep people informed about what's going on in real time, and you get to really talk to the person who's actually doing the development, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are we excited about? So there's Pulse certainly. And like seeing like where that'll go, because I think that where it starts is not where it's going to finish. I think that like certainly software wise and things, we're going to keep on improving on that, and seeing, I hope what people want, what people need, learning from the community so that we can build something that is community driven. And that is based on the things that people are seeing, because we have a whole we have thousands of people who are going to basically be testers. We will be giving feedback, and we'll be able to respond to that feedback, as is appropriate. I mean, obviously, like not every request is going to get an audience if it's just one person, but certainly, people will get to sort of see that agile process unfold. And then there's partnerships with outside entities that we work with. We've been grateful to have the partnership of Chevalier throughout this, which has been kind of a real godsend. Certainly, like securing that was a real point of it was a real turning point in terms of like hope that I certainly had. That we could do something, because I think. I'm not going to name names here, but some entities were like less than thrilled about us like having any autonomy whatsoever, and kind of did their best to like keep it from happening. But those partnerships are important. We're kind of looking at some other ones where we've, as Jens has kind of intimated, we've put together a partnership with a brake supplier. So we are going to be able to supply custom brakes for Fisker Oceans, which nobody can do right now. So that's going to be something that mostly Jens really has like kind of run to ground on, which is, he's a very like,
he's remarkable.
he's a machine, that guy. Financial regulator, but like you got a whole like shadow life as like an orchestrator of
procurement
and logistics.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to hopefully build out the tech community, because it's starting to like becoming like a community. So the technicians are helping each other out. It doesn't matter where they're located. There's always someone online that can help out with what is this error, or why is this car doing this, or it's really amazing to see that they just share all their knowledge, and they don't care who they're sharing it with, and just helping out. But
also the techs too around the world, just like collaborating on stuff and asking questions and helping each other troubleshoot and things like the tech support line on WhatsApp is like always buzzing all day long.
Yeah. And then when it's night somewhere in the world, it's always day somewhere else, and there's always someone online that can help out. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's techs in California helping techs in the UK or even like Europe somewhere or whatever. It's just it's a really, that's also a really important community too. Is the techs are just sometimes like, but they sometimes are miracle workers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we have added more techs. It's really cool. So there's some amazing people out there that didn't figure out a few months ago that they were going to work on Fiskars, but they are working on it now. It's, yeah.
What are you talking about, Edward?
No, I'm talking about Sophie, the accountant from UK.
Sophie. Yeah, that's
Sophie the accountant, who's now Sophie the technician.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, she's always just like, you guys aren't going to believe this stupid question.
Yeah, it's really, it's funny.
Oh,
Hey, Sybil. All right.
My office.
But I mean, also like people who like do things they never thought they were going to do, like Edward. Certainly, I'm sure didn't start his 2025 thinking that he was going to be doing all that he's doing now, technically. Or like, being the global tech lead on the PKC 21 thing, and just like working tirelessly for like every weekend for like a couple months to like keep that on the keep that smooth. And like, honestly, I feel like the implementation of it was, I've seen much worse implementations. Well, Fisker implemented things way worse, but like I've seen much worse implementations rolled out by companies and the way that worked. And I think like that's just like ordinary people deciding to take on something new and to go places they never thought they would go.
Yep.
So welcome, Sybil. Thank you for joining us.
Sorry, I'm so late. Didn't think that doing it on the phone would not work, but yeah.
Give us your quick intro to anyone who's listening that might not be familiar with who you are and what you do.
My name is Sybil Yang. I am a volunteer with the Fisker Owners Association, and then somewhere late 24, I took on helping to run Tsunami Automotive, along with Michael Rosito and Brian Boge. We take care of North American parts, for Fisker owners.
And you have a couple of Fiskars?
I do. I used to have 3. I now only have 2.
Okay.
And on the way to work today, it beeped at me plenty on the way in, but it's all good. It's all par for the course. Yeah, I plan on spending winter break taking care of the wheel well issue, the wiring harness in the wheel well with the windshield wiper thingy that Miles posted a tutorial on. Yeah.
And I thought I was behind when I got mine done in July. I was getting really nervous.
I haven't done any of those things, so you're nowhere near as behind as I am.
I do have a spare bumper sitting in my living room.
No way.
And my living room is just like filled with like ocean parts.
That's so funny. Wow. That's hilarious.
So we were doing a 2025 recap, and did you come prepared with some thoughts, Sybil?
Oh, recap for 2025. PKC 21, it was just amazing. How far we came in terms of having new software, like literally new software written for it. Chevalier having like stepped up and made new parts for us is fantastic. I think the groundwork is now there for us to distribute not only software, but communications and physical goods to North America, Europe, the UK. I think that foundation is now already there. I think the hard part of all of that stuff I'd like to think that a lot of it is we're over that hump and it should be smoother sailing going forward.
You're going to jinx this.
I would knock on some wood, but I work at a state university and it's like 1950s brutalism.
or the veneer on the door, perhaps?
Actually, that probably is a solid wood door. I should just roll over there. Knock on it.
This is how committed FOA is. When they say something, they do something.
I think we found a good core of people who have found their passion, and it fits really well with what they're good at as well. And I think the supply of oceans has kind of stabilized also. I think the people who are in it, and I think we're getting a new generation of people who kind of have that tinkerer mindset that will be able to contribute to kind of that DeLorean-esque, future.
I find it fascinating that whenever somebody decides they're going to sell theirs, the number of zealots who are just like, I got one, but I could use it.
Yeah.
It has been interesting just to see how many new people continue to come in. I feel like almost every day, if I look at, I'm not on there very often, but every time I jump onto Reddit or something, I feel like I see another comment from someone saying, "Hey, I just picked up my first Fisker. What do I need to know?" And it's like, what? What do you need to? You bought it, and then you want to know what do you need to know? Okay, that's a choice. But it is. It's been interesting to. Two things have been interesting for me recently. That being one of them. I expected that to slow down. I think to some degree that newer people coming in, at least for now. And then the second thing that has been really interesting for me, and this may be just because of how much of my community is still in New York, but just the sheer volume of people I hear from who are taking Fiskers on a regular basis to and from the airport or everywhere or anywhere else that they're going, and I hear from people constantly. Yeah. I get a text message as someone's getting into their car, look what picked me up, and I'm just like, great, that's awesome. Talk to them. See what they see what they say, and some of them do, and some of them are weary to engage. But it's been an interesting sort of pattern to see these two things sort of pick up.
My original theory when we started was that what would happen was if we were able to stabilize this and to make it like something unique, it would start to attract people who, like Miles, who read about it, found out about it, and the whole premise was part of the draw, right? And so you get sort of like the people who are kind of disappointed that they don't get the OEM car experience. They filter out, they sell them. Then the people who pick them up are ones who are like, I'm in it for like this particular experience. There are a lot of those.
Yeah.
I drove by, or actually I caught up to an ocean on the Bay Bridge just because it was an ocean. And then as I pulled up next to it, it honked at me.
Awesome.
And I'm just like, what other car? Yeah. What other car? Like, where the owners have traded that.
Yeah, it's I get the Jeep Wranglers have their little yellow ducks and stuff, but like, who else? You would think that if any other automotive community would be honking at each other to say like, "Hey, I know what you're in," it would be the Wrangler community. But they're just like, they're more happy just showing off their ducks, whereas we're focused on like honking to acknowledge like, "Hey, yeah, it's not screaming at you right now." Is it foggy? It's foggy for me too.
I was like, I wanted to throw a business card into like their window or something like that and say like, call me if you need anything.
Here's a window cling. I'm going to catch up and hopefully it'll just back under.
We could develop some sort of a proximity bump thing, like, how like with iPhones where you want to exchange contact information. If I drive by your Fisker, like it'll ask me if I want to like.
Oh, that's a fun idea.
Don't bump it. We don't have any spare parts.
Near Fisker communication, NFC, right?
Oh, that could be a feature request for OceanLink Pro.
Right.
Near
Through the door handles.
Ocean radar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am so excited for Pulse. Like, just not gonna lie.
I can't
So
even
excited
tell
about
you,
it.
like, the day that I get this tutorial video is taking on like my full focus. And the problem is, like, this would be the time for me to be focused on it, because like holidays, things slow down. But I'm going to be patient, and I know that everything is going to hit all at once. Like, work is going to be upside down crazy, and then Maj is going to be like, your shipment's on the way, and I'm going to have to just drop things to get this thing ready and out there. But I cannot wait for it.
I mean, what I'm excited about is, as it relates to pulses, is full disclosure. Maybe this will like people hate me for this, but like I'm actually one of those people. Like, the car goes fast, the accelerator is great. Like, like I don't actually know that I care so much about like all the high tech stuff. What I do care about though is like I know other people do, and I do care about sort of like advancing something and building something and seeing like the reactions that people have to it, and kind of like, so what I'm excited about with the introduction of Pulse really just is like this is the fruition of like some of those daydreams we had in summer of 2024 when like nothing was certain, and we were just like, what if we could just do this crazy thing, right? And that and Pulse, I mean, OceanLink Pro is one step in that direction. Pulse is like a giant leap into a really interesting future.
Yep. Yeah.
It was fall of like 24 or so when we membership was like we didn't even have a membership system yet, and I think we polled people. It was like, what do you want for the ocean? Right. And like on the top of the list it was telecommunications and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That's like fall of 24, right? And it's just a year later, a little bit over that, and it's like so totally within reach.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all volunteers. Like, it's not the freaking $2-3 billion that like Henrik raised. It's like a bunch of people.
And yeah, and the speed of this. I mean, some people like want everything yesterday, but like it is like I can't stress enough like how fast this has happened and how like quickly this has moved. I mean, basically the real development of this stuff didn't start until spring of this year.
I can remember someone saying Apple CarPlay will never happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe there are several people at this call that said so. And now it's happening.
Yeah. Why are you outing me like that, Geeta?
Sorry?
I said, why are you outing me like that?
I'm outing you all.
Yeah.
And myself.
Sybil speaks from a perspective of being involved with entrepreneurism and business development, and not just an offhand comment when she says this
how often
is amazing.
How often do you talk to your students about this stuff?
Oh, about like the ocean?
Yeah, this whole like, kind of experiment that we're running.
well, it depends, right? So I'm in the College of Business. I'm a business professor, but since I do entrepreneurship, I work with a lot of students in the College of Science and Engineering. That they're the tinkerers. They're the ones who like to play with little servos, and they 3D print. And then I'm actually the faculty advisor for the 3D print club, and so they come back to me and it's like, what do I print next? Or like, and I'm like, I got some cardboard.
Yeah, right.
And they really can't say that you're just some out of touch like academic in your ivory tower, like kind of just like pronouncing things and you don't know what you're talking about.
I've got bumpers in the living room. Come on, how much do you throw that around?
Well, the wild part is, and not to poo-poo like business students or anything like that, but I go back to them and I say, you have to move quickly. You can't analyze everything to death. It's best if you analyze the situation to the best of your ability. Don't think too long about it. Prototype it, test it, get feedback, change it, and then do it again as quickly as you can. The business kiddies are like, I don't know. We need another report about it. Like I need some expert to come in and tell me like what the right answer is. And then I'm like, no, move faster. And then for the engineers and the scientist students, they just want to make shit and then deploy it all. And I'm like, no, you can't. You have to figure out how people are going to use it first. And so they want to build out the full thing and then deploy it and see what people say. And I'm like, no. And I don't talk to either one of them about what I think about that, but I sit here and I see the engineers and they want to build all of this stuff. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. Find out A, B, C, D. And no, we don't have the money to do all of that all at once. And then there are a bunch of people who are like, no, we need to do more research on this. And then, another survey on this, or find out the perspective from A, B, C, D before we build anything. I'm like, no, that'll take forever. And I think we've gotten to a better place right now. It's still the duck floating on top of the water and the legs just moving frantically on the bottom. But I think we have a better grip of it.
I feel like, I don't know, like I've lost count of the number of times that we have like decided to press go on things and just prayed that the duct tape would hold. And it generally has. I mean, there's certainly been like some like misadventures and things. I mean, it's hard not to have those. I think the thing is like, obviously as you do when you're an entrepreneur, you try something for a little while. If it's not going to work, you gotta like kind of abandon it, move on to the next thing, like figure out like how to like make adjustments in real time and stuff. And so, seem to have a lot of people who are like at least comfortable enough with that kind of situation.
I think comfort with them ambiguity is what I'm hearing circling around right now, and that includes in the business school too.
I love ambiguity. Like, there's nothing I like more than like being in a situation where like it is like super unclear what's going to happen or how you have to do something. I feel more like energized and alive in those situations than
that gives some
else.
people hives directly. I know.
Oh, I mean, that's because my wife hives. She doesn't like that. She's just like, I don't know how you like live your life. I mean, I've mostly just worked for myself my whole life. I've like, I'm some company roped me into full time, but like, I just love just figuring things out and like just having like only the stuff I've got in front of me, and like I'm gonna look at it and figure out like, all right, how am I gonna make something out of this? I've got like a limited time. And I just feel like that's when I feel like actually like plugged in and connected. Like idle hands for me are really dangerous. I'm like a very self-destructive person if I don't have things to like obsess over.
I don't know. I
so does that mean you would have burned the car by this point?
No, I mean, I was always there was no way that I wasn't going to be involved in this. Like the minute I saw somebody who was like, "Hey, guess we should put something together," I was like, "You want somebody else?" Like, I totally want to do this. Not that I have time for it, but it just seems interesting. I just love doing things that I think are interesting and unusual.
So, like some wrap up final thoughts here in terms of what's been the best thing that's happened in 25. And what are you looking forward to in 26?
I mean, the best thing that happened in 25, in my opinion, is like is right here. It's just the people. I like, I'm not usually typically. I'm kind of I don't like spend a lot of time around people, but this particular community has like been like a real like it has been meaningful to me just on a personal level. As like a person who doesn't really kind of like mesh with people that well, is like that everybody who's been attracted to this sort of we figure out how to like exist together in a way that I find it's like just something I really look forward to.
Very good. Gita?
Yeah, I think the best thing, I don't know, I really like helping people, and I think it's been one of the best things for 25 to help people to drive their cars. People where they were stranded somewhere and you could easily just using the Chevalier tool do some things, and then they moved on and they're all like, so grateful.
Some of those early wins where somebody in some random place couldn't get into their car, and like we had the VinCheck tool, and we like which we're not supposed to.
I remember the cyclist in Europe that lost his keys.
Yeah, no, there was a guy who lost his keys, and we got him a new set of keys in like a couple of days. It's just like that like, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah, but I've been helping people out of all sorts of trouble, and I often think, how in the world would you figure this out if you had like a normal car? I mean, where you couldn't write a message on Facebook and then someone will help you out. I mean, So I think that's been pretty amazing. I've been helping people out in 7 countries this year. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Small Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the balm for all the people who like lob insults and like kind of like hate against FOA and stuff. Is not to like. I kind of do engage them because I do enjoy a petty like social media fight, but here and there. But I think is like the real like win is that like just kind of like double down on like, well, let's keep being helpful then, and just keep doing it. Don't like let this get in the way.
I think speaking to that sort of common theme that we all have here of just trying to help and being a sort of building a community around this, what I find most impressive is that typically in order for there to be the level of commitment and sort of information and whatever we want to call this in a community, especially in the automotive side, we're talking about usually cars or brands that have been around for decades. In some cases, have sold millions of vehicles, right? Like I think about my BMW E46 and like how big that community is. They sold 2 million E46s. Most of like a lot of them are still on the road. So of course, there's going to be an enormous community of people that are going to want to continue to try and educate and learn and fix and do that kind of stuff. To see that world build up so quickly, for the Fisker community, I think has been, to me, one of the most impressive and exciting takeaways from the entire experience is that it had happened, yes, out of necessity, but it was something that I think has become as central to the ownership experience as it is for all of these cars that have been around in some cases for decades, that have taken this long to sort of build up the type of helpful community that we've built in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say my favorite thing about this past year has been the PKC 21 rollout, just because it was an opportunity to meet so many other Ocean owners and get to hear all their stories and the wacky conditions their cars were in, and figure out like problem solve different things that they were encountering way beyond the PKC 21 itself. And I think when I look at like this next year, I'm actually really looking forward to doing that again. I think there will be an opportunity to have more meetups. People even asked us if we could have more meetups, and I would love to do that. But I'm actually ending the year, I think, on a high note for me, which is I'm going to New Orleans with my family just for vacation. And I looked up on the FOA membership map, like if there's anybody in New Orleans who has an Ocean. And I reached out to a couple people, and I got 2 members who haven't received PKC 21 yet. And they are really excited to meet up. So when I'm there for vacation.
Oh, cool.
And like icing on the cake, the Airbnb that we got is 2 blocks away from this guy's house.
It's
like
not,
just
it's
by
not
chance.
icing on the cake, Miles.
Airbnb.
It's powdered sugar on the beignet. As if you're going to New Orleans, if you just want to stick with it, the powdered sugar on the beignet is yes.
Powdered sugar on the beignet. Thank you. That's more appropriate. But yeah, this guy Tony lives 2 blocks from where we're going to be staying, and he's even hooking us up with a babysitter to help out, so my wife and I can go out one night. I mean, it's just like, it's a really cool community, man. Like if you get to do stuff like that and just like go on vacation and meet fun people, and by chance, like, I'm going to get to hang out with this guy in New Orleans. It's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. It's just a nice group of people overall. So
very nice.
I don't know
Yeah, so I mean that's so you buy the car, get the babysitter.
Right.
That's the added benefit there.
Is that part of the Pulse, or is that something that we can just get through the app?
Actually, I think
if
one
it's a
of the
hardware
features
thing, I don't know if everyone's going to get on board.
I think in Pulse there is actually
cool, though,
like pet mode that like says,
Yeah.
AC is on.
I will say I
Music
did use this entire weekend. We took a road trip from here, the Bay Area, down to Joshua Tree and a couple of other stops along the way. And because of how cold it's been here in California, that preconditioning feature and leaving the dogs in the car while we were out for hours at a time was massive. So even just that, even just being able, and I know it's not even the full preconditioning sort of modus operandi that we're going to have with the Pulse and everything, but even just what we have from that regard today was an amazing treat to have on that trip. So very exciting.
Tap you.
My favorite part is actually also PKC 21 for slightly different reasons. I love people also, Miles, but mine isn't necessarily for that. I did meet a lot of awesome people along the way when we rolled out PKC 21. But that PKC 21 went and is going as smoothly as it did. It is just shocking to me. Someone when we were debating with American Lease about all the American Lease stuff and OTAs, like over a year ago, someone had made the suggestion of like, we should just, deploy all the software through meetups physically, and oh my God, that's what PKC 21 was. And we did it so quickly. So I'm super proud of the system that was created. Dues paid for the development of PKC 21, the software part. Members created their own cables to connect the cars, right? A system of volunteers, like people stepped up and said, hey, train me on the software. We created documentation and training materials so people knew how to do it. It got deployed to service providers also, so they knew how to do it as well. And when things did go sideways, like, we fixed it. Like, volunteers fixed it. FOA Edward and Peter, they fixed it remotely also. And just that we could do this. Like, it was a dream a year ago, and I'm like, oh shit, we can actually do this. No bricks.
And no bricks.
I bricked one, right? And the owner and I, we
Sybil messed up a bunch. I don't know if she just probably didn't tell you guys, but there was just like tons and tons of.
We spent the next 24 hours.
No. Let's not put out this misinformation if it's not true.
It was actually interesting because I'm lucky I'm in the Bay Area, and we did the meetup in the East Bay, and the PKC needed to be replaced. Drove down to Madges, picked up a PKC, drove back up. This was still during the meetup. The owner took my car down to grab the PKC, and in the Starbucks parking lot, we took his dash off, and we replaced the PKC. It still wouldn't work.
That's amazing.
Right? And so I dropped the owner off at a hotel. He used points, stayed overnight. We met back up again at 6:00 in the morning. Took the dash off again, and called up Greg Beard, texted the WhatsApp group of service providers, like, what could possibly be wrong? And we missed a few wiring harnesses, like the two of us, because we were doing this in a Starbucks parking lot. And it was getting towards midnight. And we finally figured it out after remoting in diagnostic tools, like Guillaume and Greg Beard were both able to say it's in this area. And then talking with Greg, he was like, oh, what else did you do differently? And the owner had installed a T-Box reset switch, and it was off. So we took the dash off. Like, the dash was taken off like 3 times, but owner was totally good attitude about the whole thing, was super psyched to get a demo of Pulse when he went down to Magis to pick up the PKC. And I was just like, these are the people of the community, right? Service providers who are on the phone with you and able to remote in the availability of parts, and owners who are just like, I'm in it with you, and we're gonna figure this out. I'm just like, this is doable.
What I'm shocked by about that story most is that the police didn't show up when you were in that parking lot, like assuming that you guys were like car thieves or something.
Stripping the car. Yeah.
Very slow car.
It was
thieves trying
Hayward,
to steal the
California.
car.
Not as bad as Oakland, but it's Hayward.
That makes a lot of sense. It's a good that that you added that, Sybil, for Bay Area folks to know that that's just sort of standard operating procedure in Hayward. Just dashboards coming off of cars in random parking lots.
It won't fly in San Francisco, but it'll fly in Oakland and Hayward.
Wow.
Andrew, any thoughts to share?
No, honestly, I think my biggest, they've touched on it, the whole PKC 21 rollout, and the experience around that, meeting with owners, talking with folks, both having attended one that Sybil did, then hosting one myself, and just seeing the sort of excitement from the community around all of this, and how much effort is being put in amongst the volunteer community, and how appreciative everyone is of all those efforts, even when things don't go 100% right. If something doesn't, the key fob pairing didn't work, try me afterwards kind of thing, that kind of stuff. That to me was the I think most impressive example of the work that the community has done. And obviously I would say the Pulse and that side of it would be second, but I haven't touched and played with that yet. And so I'll save that one hopefully for our 2026 end of year recap. But that whole process from development to communication internally, documentation, the whole plan around it, for that to be done and accomplished through a patchwork sort of network of volunteers, as effectively as it was, that's the story, I think, of the year, and is the thing that we should be proud of and building on as we look into next year and beyond, and how to keep these cars running and maximize the potential of them. I think some of the stuff even that I've told my wife about, that I know that Maj is working on, and I'm just like, yeah, we were splitting the drive a little bit on this trip, and just the ability to have profiles coming up soon where she can just jump in and be like, okay, I'm going to hit my profile and the seat's going to adjust and everything. Those little things I think are going to have a lasting impact for all of us, and I'm excited about it.
Well, there's also like those little things that you expect in a modern vehicle, that we had to kind of do ourselves. And then there's also just the things that are like exciting surprises, like the whole like diagnostics end of the OLP, was remarkable. Can
you reset your computer on any other, on other cars?
Not that degree. All the only other, I've watched a lot of videos of a lot of different EV reviews and things over the years, and more often than not, the reset that we have on the steering wheel is about the level of reset that people have in their cars. So, yeah, man.
Yeah. And so we also have a Rivian, and and it gets really cold. It sets off this replace battery notification on the dashboard, but the battery's fine. But I can't just clear that. I have to actually go to Rivian Service Center for them to clear that for me.
That doesn't even clear with the Rivian reset on the steering wheel either. No.
Nope. And they were just like, "Yeah, your battery's fine. This is just a cold weather thing." And it's just like, and if it was my Ocean, I could just whip out the app and run some diagnostics, clear some codes, and go on my way.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up here, I'll throw in my thoughts of what was the best. It's having trust in the FOA and its tentacles, because like I said before, there are a lot of people who have adopted this philosophy and are helpers out there in the network and just are immediately attracted to it, which helps me live with the ambiguity of owning one of these cars. So
be careful, man. Some people out there think that we're like Cthulhu or something like that. So when you say tentacles, like, you might think you're talking about like our evil side.
I want to thank everyone for coming on the podcast, on the video cast, and sharing your thoughts with us as we wrap up a terrific 2025 and look forward to more in 26.
And thank you, Bill, for convening this.
It was really Miles.
And to everybody in the community, like we can't do this without you. So, like, I think the most important part of this is all those people out there just driving their cars and
picking
helping
up
each other
and carrying a load. Yep,
that's right.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. 2025. We'll talk to you all next year.
Merry Christmas.